So last week, a brand new dating app launched. It enters into a crowded marketplace already populated by something like 65 million other dating apps, but it seeks to set itself apart by specifically targeting conservatives. Some people from the Trump camp apparently have teamed up with Peter Thiel to bring us what's called the right stuff, which is a service which says that it was created for conservatives to connect in authentic and meaningful ways. Other dating apps have gone woke, the website reads, but we bring people together with shared values and similar passions. Now, a commercial for the app went viral on social media last week, and here it is. Check it out.
Today, we brought in a group of conservative young women and wanted to get their honest opinions about what they're looking for in the guys they date. What are you looking for in a partner?
They just have to be a conservative.
Definitely someone that wants to have kids.
I like an independent man. Personally, I like the alpha male vibe.
I want a man who really loves his family.
Definitely someone whose faith is important to them.
For me, it's someone who actually wants to meet my parents.
Why do you want to date a conservative?
For me, at least I know that we're going to start off with some shared values.
Well, the conservative men I've dated at least know how to treat me like a woman.
In my personal experience, conservative guys have better manners.
I like that they understand their role in the relationship as a man.
I just prefer my men to be masculine.
And what's the biggest red flag when it comes to dating?
A Democrat.
No Democrats.
A Democrat.
Can't be a Democrat.
A Democrat.
That's easy, a Democrat.
No Democrats. It's a no.
Find the right match. Download the right stuff today.
Now, the acting in the commercial may not be award-worthy exactly, but then again, the acting in most commercials isn't award-worthy. The main point is the concept, and it's the concept that the left has been mocking relentlessly. Almost all of the reporting on the new app is focused on how much people hate it and are making fun of it. The Independent reports, quote, "People are mocking new conservative dating app, The Right Stuff." Then the article helpfully documents some of the lame jokes that trolls have made about it. Quote, "Conservatives are such dorks launching a dating app called The Right Stuff," one person tweeted, while another said, "The Right Stuff dating app sounds like the stuff nightmares are made of." "Can't wait to not sign up," someone else joked. These are apparently the best insults they could find for this article, proving yet again that although leftists may love to troll, which is a passion that I, in fact, share with them, they are really not very good at it. Meanwhile, the Daily Dot reports, quote, "Some had a hard time believing that most young women looking for love would be content with the type of relationship dynamic this ad suggests." Quote, "Wait until their masculine conservative says, 'When I want your opinion, I'll ask for it,' or calls you every day at noon to ask what's for supper and tells you how his mother did it." Another person tweeted, "One Twitter user observed that The Right Stuff is basically the dating app version of a safe space for right-wingers." Quote, let's connect to hate immigrants and women's rights," someone else quipped. Another joked, "Someone said they're trying to build a domestic terrorist database." Well, if I wanted to build a database of the lamest nerds with the worst insults, I think we're off to a good start here. Although there may actually be some truth to what the last guy said. I wouldn't be surprised if the feds used an app like this to catfish and entrap conservatives. Now, the good news, though, is that you can usually spot the federal agents based on the haircut. Or if he starts suggesting, on the first date that you should try to kidnap the governor or something, then that's, a pretty good indication. But in any case, other leftist outlets have accused The Right Stuff of many other things, promoting misogyny, promoting traditional gender roles, God forbid. They've blasted it for being archaic, old-fashioned, divisive, et cetera, et cetera. They've mocked it, belittled it, been offended by it, and so on. They just really hate the idea of conservatives trying to meet each other, get married, have babies. They really do hate it. The Daily Show with Trevor Noah got in on the action this week with a painfully unfunny skit ridiculing the conservative dating app. On the bright side, the bit did extend Trevor Noah's perfect, unbroken streak of unfunny jokes. And he just announced that he's leaving The Daily Show, apparently, soon. So it looks like he'll retire with a batting average of 1,000 when it comes to being painfully witless and unfunny. So congratulations to him. It is an impressive accomplishment. Well, in 2020, there were over 1,000 significant online data breaches in the U.S., which left almost 156 million people and their records exposed. That includes sensitive information related to children. Now, you wouldn't let your kid walk home from school without telling them not to talk to strangers or get into any windowless vans, but You let them go online every day without a VPN when everything they do is tracked for advertisers. And who knows what kind of creeps could physically track them using their IP address. It's just not smart. So protect your family's privacy. When they go online, you've got to use ExpressVPN. Internet service providers know that every single website you visit, they know all of that. ISPs can sell this information to ad companies and also to tech giants who then use your data to target you. Do you really want all of these advertisers knowing who's in your household, what your kids like to watch, how to target them with whatever they're trying to sell? Probably not. ExpressVPN protects your privacy without slowing your connection, no matter how many users are in your household. Unlike other VPNs, you won't even realize you have it on. It's so easy to use. Just download the app on your phone or on your computer, tap one button, and you're protected. No one in your family is too old or too young to figure out how to use it. So secure your family's online activity. Use my link and you can get an extra 3 months free. ExpressVPN.com/MattWalshShow. ExpressVPN.com/MattWalshShow. But there are a few things here, a few points to make, I think. First, you have to keep in mind that the people who make fun of things like this are, almost without exception, single, childless, and lonely, and likely destined to always remain so. Much of what drives so many people in our society today is the fact that they are lonesome and miserable, and they want you to be lonesome and miserable too. It's one of the universal, timeless facts of life. Misery loves company. Why does misery love company? Well, because miserable people tend to believe that happiness is kind of graded on a curve. So if they can make everyone else less happy, then their own happiness score sort of is raised when compared against the average. Now, the math doesn't really work that way, but that won't stop them from employing that strategy anyway. In fact, they will not only try to steer you away from things that will make you happy, but will even try to convince you that you are unhappy when you aren't. So, for example, ever since I announced that we have another set of twins on the way, I have heard many nasty comments from trolls insisting that I cannot actually be happy as a married man with 6 kids. The idea of finding contentment and joy in a life of service to my wife and children simply doesn't compute with these shallow, flimsy, self-centered little nothings. Their lives are devoted entirely to their TVs and their phones and maybe their pets. So I will grow old with my children and grandchildren by my side. They will grow old with their TikTok accounts, and then they'll die and be forgotten and leave behind no legacy. This is the path to fulfillment, they insist. And since my path is the opposite of what they've chosen, they must convince me that I should be miserable about my life choices. But that's an impossible uphill battle because, sadly for them, I love my wife and children and can't imagine a life without them. Second point, I don't know anything about this particular dating app aside from the commercial. I don't know if the user base is large enough for it to actually work. I don't know anything about the app's functionality or lack thereof. When it comes to the execution, it could be a great service, it could be terrible, it could be somewhere in between. I'm not really in a position to test out dating apps, so I can't give you a personal testimony one way or another. But what I can say is that the idea behind it, the idea that people on the left are deriding ruthlessly, is good. And I want to focus on that, on the idea, just the idea for a moment. Because if you are a mature adult, not looking to waste time, not looking for cheap hookups, but rather desiring a healthy and committed and serious relationship, most dating apps currently on the market are a waste of time because they simply are not designed to facilitate that sort of thing. They're not designed for you. They're designed for and mostly used by people who want to use each other for momentary pleasure and then move on to the next. So it can be difficult to sift through all of that debris to find actual spouse material. For that, you need to find someone who shares your fundamental values. You don't need to align perfectly on every last issue. You're not looking for your carbon copy. My wife is not a carbon copy of me. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to marry me. I don't know how she does it, frankly. But we do share our core values and beliefs. We're building from the same foundation. And if you build from the same foundation, it's okay to disagree about some of the furnishings and decorations and everything, which we do in my marriage in a both literal and figurative sense. The other key is that both people in a relationship have to see marriage as the logical and desired endpoint of dating. Dating is not an end in itself, but rather a vehicle that takes you somewhere else. So you have to look at it. It's a vehicle. And if both people cannot agree on the destination or even that there is a destination, You just remain stuck in neutral forever until one or both of you gets bored and bails out of the car, which will likely happen very quickly. And finally, the man in the relationship must embrace his role as a man and the woman as a woman. A relationship doesn't work if both people involved don't understand that they bring something unique and essential to the arrangement. That's what the much hated and feared gender roles are really about. It's just about emphasizing and acknowledging and highlighting the fact that as a man, you bring something unique and special to the relationship. As a woman, you bring something unique and special. By rejecting sex differences and gender roles entirely, people in romantic relationships make themselves redundant and useless with no idea about what they're supposed to do or why. Confusion and paralysis sets in, and then the whole thing breaks down. So, it certainly is the right approach, the right stuff, you might say, to go into the dating scene looking for someone who shares your values, who sees marriage as the end goal of dating, and who embraces their masculinity as a man or their femininity as a woman. Now, whether this particular dating app will successfully facilitate all that, I don't know. But I do know, certainly, that the leftist critics in this case are today canceled. If you want to join my exclusive fan base, or a cult, as really that's what it is, we're forming a cult, then all you got to do is click the subscribe button and ring the bell below this video to stay up to date with all my content. And if you want even more, you can watch or listen to my show at thedailywire.com, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Looking forward to welcoming you to the Sweet Baby Gang.